Welcome back, everybody, to the NLC. We have our second game coming your way. Now, of course, Godsent got a much needed win versus Tricked to kick this week off. But this game now, this is hugely impactful for both teams involved. This is Granit versus Nordavind. They are both 3 and 5 in the standings, both of which are vying for that playoff spot. And especially with the win that Godsent now got, the pressure is on to continue to keep up with that scoreline. So, Granit and Nordavind going head-to-head, what for essentially feels like the shot at playoffs. This is a huge game for both of them.
Speaking of head-to-head, right now, Granit won last time, so they're already up 1-0. If you can secure this head-to-head, when it's literally 3-5 between all these teams, that will be monumental for you and really create a gap between you and Nordavind when the stakes are so close. Because then if Nordavind lose today and Godsent lose to, or not Godsent, but Granit lose tomorrow or for the rest of the week whenever they're playing, then it's just out. Nordavind can't catch up, and that's the most crucial part for Granit. And if you're Nordavind, obviously you want to secure that. You want to even out the score and make sure this head-to-head does not happen.
Yeah, and for Granit Gaming, the next game is up against Tricked, who we did see just lose, but either way is looking like one of the stronger teams we have in Group A and in the NLC in general. And they won't be very happy about losing that last game, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them come out with a vengeance for the Granit game. So yeah, this game really important. And Nordavind with absolutely, oh my goodness, where's this come from? Two mid lane bans. Focus towards the hero. What is this?
Never seen this ban lane strategy before. This is insane. But also, Foxy, I want to just build on what you just said. If Granit were to win here, then Tricked could lose their position in the standings or go into a head-to-head versus Granit if they were to then lose to Granit in their following game. So it is all the more important, you know, especially Tricked. They are not sitting pretty. As Gulborg said, very quite rightly, you know, if if Trick didn't win that match, they're not guaranteed playoffs yet. There's still scenarios where they could potentially be out. Seraphine first pick, I think that's likely going to Samira in the mid lane. You know, we've talked about Samira being quite vocal about his depth of champion pool. He's bringing out another one. This time it's going to be the Seraphine, but responded immediately by the Skarner, which is something that we've seen a little more of. I do remember a really interesting quote from the LEC when Gilius was going up against Zanzara, and he said, "Oh, it's just an ERL Skarner that I'm facing," and then he got beaten by the ERL Skarner. So Nordavind are whacking out the ERL Skarner for this game versus Granit.
Yeah, and they pair it up with the likes of Thresh, so you can make that Lantern combo work in. Now, this is something I'm excited for. So, Excandro, you were talking about how Granit Gaming may have prepared something a bit more spicy, and I like what I'm seeing here. You got like, some globals to open up the map, and this is something that we have been really fond of in Europe for a long time in the LEC. We love the Twisted Fates. We love opening up the map here. So now we just need some priority lanes to play for with this Twisted Fate as well.
One downside to picking TF this early, though, is that you lose the flex option of the Seraphine, which is something that, you know, you could have gone into this next ban phase and Nordavind wouldn't have known where the Seraphine is going, even as you said, Kinnan, like you assumed it was going in mid lane. And I honestly thought that would have been my guess as well. But instead, that's not going to be happening. And now you're up against a Skarner Thresh combo as a Twisted Fate, which I just think is pretty difficult if there's any kind of pro from bot lane. If you get a push in bot side, then Thresh roams to mid, and Twisted Fate is a 0 mobility character. Obviously, he's got his gold card, but apart from that, you know, he's no mobility, and Skarner as well, a champion that just wants to run at you and grab you. You know, depending on the mid laner that gets drafted here from Nordavind as well, like that's such easy gank setup, and so Hero could be in, yeah, a bit of a pickle this game.
Yeah, could very well be the case. But of course, Seraphine coming through, still a very powerful tool to use in teamfight situations. Obviously, we're going to see some prioritization on the Kai'Sa as well. You guys mentioned very strong AD carry still in the current meta. And especially, this is looking like a spicy Gale Force Kai'Sa game. Like, there's lots of potential execute targets to kind of get on the backline too. Excited to see how this goes through. Jhin and Xayah banned away here. Azir will be taken off for Ericsson. So kind of seeing some targeting towards Ericsson now in this mid lane.
I'm curious to see if we're going to see some spicy bot lane picks paired up with this Seraphine. Recently, we've started in some leagues seeing it with the likes of Ashe, just because if you proc the slow with Ashe auto attacks and you get the double root down from Seraphine, it turns into a stun. It's really easy to land. The same goes for Misfortune when she puts out her bullet time, not bullet time, but make it rain. So there are still AD carries which has agency in this kind of bot lane if you put Seraphine to support to actually gain priority. And now this is something I think you should have banned. Always when you play Twisted Faith, you need to take into account that if the enemy picks the Sylas, well, he's going to do the same. And there's still good ultimates to steal from the side of Granit. You don't complain about stealing Seraphine. Don't complain about stealing Hecarim either. Like, this is just a field day for Ericsson if he gets this ball as Sylas rolling.
Yeah, and I hear Sylas is just as good a singer as Seraphine is, if not a little bit better as well with all that AP. So that's kind of scary, honestly. I was thinking maybe we'd get more of like a supporty focused mid and more of a carry top. To kind of play around like the engage from Skarner. But hell, like if you can play Sylas in this matchup, that's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And now you got that last pick as well for the counters. Like you've been able to counter pick both solo lanes here from the side of Nordavind and still been able to give Chrisberg like his best champion. I think, honestly, all in all,
it's Nasus. It's Nasus.
That's Curb. That's Curb.
That's Curb. Do you know what's so funny? We spent the entire season going, when is Curb going to play Curb? And finally, Curb is playing Curb.
So I actually don't mind this Nasus pick when you're playing against the likes of On, just because you know that it's going to be a freebie lane where you're just farming up. Yes, the enemy has a Twisted Fate, but you don't really want to navigate your resources towards the top side of the map. You want to shut down Kai'Sa. You want to be able to make sure that she does not scale ahead. And at the same time, what you're playing for in your AD carry is Senna and Seraphine, which is not really your hyper carry AD carries. Yes, Senna does well with a new item build, but it's still not the same as having a Kai'Sa in the backline. So you need to make sure that she does not fall behind the curve, just because as Senna, if you fall behind the curve, it's not only items, it's also the stacking on your soul and all these stuff that make you AD carry or make you relevant as an AD carry with her kit.
This is the same as the playoffs Prime League Kerberos. When the chips are down, original Kerberos comes back to play. Like, this is like the original, almost Triforce Cho'Gath level of Kerberos that we're seeing a little bit on the stage here. I'm excited to see how it plays out. This is definitely a lot of comfort picks. I mean, Ericsson's Sylas, he plays that a lot. Chrisberg's got his Kai'Sa. Curb's gone back onto his Nasus. Yeah, so we've got a lot of comfort picks this game. You can see the teams have really like prepared heavily for what is going to be one of the most important matches they're going to play this split. We'll have to see how it pans out. We have Hit Brain and Trouble, of course, to take us through it. Let's get into it.
I wonder whether or not we're going to get the Tryndamere performance we saw at Insomnia from Kerberos, or if we're going to see Kerberos on Nasus. For anyone who hasn't followed this guy for a long time, there are two picks I think of when I think of Kerberos: Old Kale and Nasus. So this is a very spicy pickup for him. But then if we kind of zoom out and look a little bit elsewhere other than the exciting pick, you've got likes of Ericsson, who doesn't have a single bad ultimate for him to steal away with on the Sylas. Like the desk was saying as well, Chrisberg got, you know, one of his strongest champions while they were counterpicking all the other lanes. Like,
I just said
honestly,
GG well played. Chrisberg or Kai'Sa, just go next, man. You don't actually have to play the game. Come on.
Nordavind just got everything they wanted on this draft, and a Nasus, but like they really got everything they wanted here. So
see,
I mean,
I'm excited to see
how this plays out.
The Nasus, I'm like, you can see that Granit wants to play, you know, the front to back. They have the Senna that plays from like miles away, and Nasus doesn't necessarily have an easy way into getting into the back line. So I guess if he's fed enough, he can just bonk the front line as well, because Hecarim isn't necessarily going to be that tanky to deal with. I do quite like both compositions because they both are trying to do something completely different. You've got Granit on one side trying to get Sahira in many different lanes to try and get them forward because of the Skarner. Skarner is so important here because it's more of a ganking jungler rather than a farming jungler. So you're going to see him a lot trying to impact lanes, and you've got the Sylas in the mid lane that can set up for you. You've got the slow in the top lane with the Nasus. You've got the hooks down in the bot lane with Patch. So he does have setup in every single lane if he chooses to gank. Now Sahira is the secret weapon from Granit, because wherever the Skarner shows up, Sahira can follow. And this is where Ericsson comes into play, because now he can follow too. Because Sahira didn't opt for the teleport. He opted to win lane and win game going for that ignite, which makes me think that Galban might be playing around that mid side of the map.
Yeah, we sung a lot of praises, but you are right. Like Granit also do have, you know, they do have some good team fighting options. Keep our eyes on Galban. See if he is going to look to put attention into Ericsson, because if Ericsson does fall behind on the Silas, he is going to have a really, really hard time. Like, at least for Sahira, he can kind of just long-range gold card people, keep himself, you know, somewhat useful in the team fight. But I do think, like, when we get to this grouped-up team fighting stage, it is going to be hard for Nordavind to walk through the Call of the Forge God, the Onslaught of Shadows, the Dawning Shadow, the Encore.
Yeah.
There's so much big AoE just running at you. And when it's a Hecarim catching the Encore as well, extending the range even further, it is actually going to be fairly hard to navigate those fights if you start to fall behind. So I think the team fights are going to be really explosive and probably kind of chaotic.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. This is why it's so important, you know, for that Skarner to work early on. Try to alleviate that pressure off of the Silas. Try to go towards that bot lane. It's always been the name of the game for Nordavind, right? Get Griezbeck ahead. Griezbeck has the champion in his hands. He's got Kai'Sa. He's dominated every single game he's played Kai'Sa in. So try to get him ahead. And when it comes to team fighting, if your Kai'Sa is strong enough, she'll be able to deal with the front line fast enough to then jump into the back line and finish off the business. On the other hand, again, I really just want to see pressure in the mid lane, and that's exactly what Sahira is doing. It's the melee versus ranged matchup. The Twisted Fate has some AoE to clear out the wave as well, so as long as you keep the Silas at bay, you will be fine.
Good to see what we see build-wise from Sahira. I've seen a couple of different builds, the Rocket Belt being the more staple build, but I have seen a Rise of Liandry's Torment build on Sahira, so could be an option as well.
If I had to choose here, just because he went with the Ignite, I'd like to see a more aggressive build coming out for him. I'd like to see him look for those early game kills. I'd like to see him try to, you know, alleviate the pressure off of the map. I like what I'm seeing so far. Last time I remember Tamos playing the Ornn, he was completely undying the entire game. He was an absolute monster. He's able to pressure Kerberos underneath his tower, you know, deprived him of some of his CS. Same with the mid lane and Sahira. He needs to try and pressure that. But look in the bot lane, you know, Kai'Sa is gone back to base. That's just instantly trying to give the Skarner that freedom to walk up that river and try to get some vision.
Yeah, you're going to be able to secure himself a crab. It's a crab for crab trade, is Curb. Losing that trade pretty hard. The brittle hurts. Nasus does have a fair amount of sustain, though, due to his passive, so it's going to kind of be a little bit okay, but it's going to want to reset at some point fairly soon. Be a Divine Thunderer build, most likely, for Kerberos. Typical build for Nasus. As Chrisberg joins back to the lane with double longswords.
This is such a level 6 game, if I've ever seen one, Hitbrain. We're waiting on the Twisted Fate trigger on the ultimate. We're waiting on the Skarner having the Impale to try and get onto a lane and pull out a gank. So I think until then, it's going to be mostly a vision. We'll try to pressure your lane as hard as possible before these two level 6 important spells hit from both teams, and you're going to have to be extremely cautious.
Ooh. That's a good hit. Mishku actually takes a tower shot there. They flash, they ignite, and Chrisberg finds first blood. Dr. Chaos is all alone, and Touch will get that hook nice and soon. The flash, the flay, the last few shots as the cleanse comes out, and Chrisberg will secure himself his second. Galban goes in and nopes back out.
5 minutes. Chrisberg on Kai'Sa. 2-0. Oh, this is gonna really hurt. You see here that Mishigu takes a step way too far. The exhaust never actually ends up going down from Dr. Chaos, and they end up paying with Mishigu's life. And again, we talked about it being a war of who can pressure the lane faster. And as you could see there on that wave, there were no more minions for Nordavind. The Hecarim was all the way on his way down. They just couldn't quite pull this off because of a great hook from the set of Touch in between a bajillion actually minions. That was very well played from the set of Nordavind, and this guy is gonna be a huge problem.
Yeah, so Ray did pickaxe finished up on the back of that base, so starting to really stack up that early damage now. As Tamos has dinged over to level 6, so we'll have that Call of the Forge God, although Curb is just playing chill underneath the tower. Ooh. Don't expect much from this top lane for a while. It is just going to be a farming game. 66 stacks right now on the Nexus.
I love what Tamas has done here. He's gone for the tier to try and get as much hurt down on Kerberos as possible. Because they mentioned it also on the analyst test, the fact that Kerberos is playing Nasus into a tank, he's gonna be fine. He's just gonna let the lane push to him, and he's just gonna farm whatever is underneath his tower. He's gonna get his stacks nevertheless. But if he's playing against someone that can constantly poke at him and not let him farm, it's going to be much harder for him. He's fallen 10 CS behind. He should be even, plus the stacks, but I just really like the move here by Tamas to try and keep the hurt going, try to keep the poke going.
Well, looks like there's a bit of a move here for Granit towards this jungle area. The Destiny's going to get thrown out, and that is going to scatter Granit away from the areas. The Destiny actually does get pulled in. So here it just sends a gold card to scare, but Destiny's coming back on the return from Ericsson. He did throw it down just for a bit of vision. He used the fear off, and Sharp is going to get sent packing. They did look to try and steal it, but Nordavind decided not to overcommit towards that bot side.
Granit had no smite, yet the Madmen commit into the play. Do they know that Galio Skarner is there?
Sharp only just gets a little bit off. He's going to be able to jump away to safety thanks to that phase rush, but it was a little scary there for a moment.
Okay, so really good stuff coming right here from Granit, because with the bot lane kingdom that Nordavind have right now, this should never happen. The dragon should never go to the side of Granit, but Zahira pulls out a really great ultimate, zones away Sharp on that Skarner, so he cannot smite the dragon. And as you can see, Galban had no smite. They literally went in to contest a dragon with no smite available to them, and they got it. This is big moves coming in from Granit.
Yeah, and Ericsson even stole the Destiny away, but it was kind of a little bit too little, a little bit too late. As Touch is making his way over. Has got the Moby, so just roaming around the map as much as possible, looking to set up his team. Curb with the Lucidity boots here in the top side. Wants to be able to get the queue up as much as possible. Up to 129 stacks, so actually really starting to stack up hard now. He's got a bit of cooldown reduction to work with.
Yeah, and again, playing against a tank, you're not gonna be ganking for the Ornn. Yeah, sure, Tamas can put down as much hurt as he wants, as much poke as he wants. He has the tier right there. He's never gonna run out of mana. But no one's gonna hold back this Nasus because he's just not threatened to die at any point in this game. So he's just gonna keep on stacking, getting stronger, getting tankier. Now, I do like the insta swap coming in right here from Granit so far. Where objectives are concerned, they are one step ahead. They managed to get the dragon, they managed to swap instantly to go top lane to try and get the Herald. They're trying to avoid the Kai'Sa, and so far they've been doing a stellar job. Yeah,
it really does feel like even with this bot lane kingdom they're able to get early, Nordavind have not been able to translate that into anything other than that 2 kills. And Granit, they're getting a lot on the map just for free. Dragon got the mountain first, and now they've got themselves this Rift Herald. Question is where are they going to throw it down? Who are they going to look to inject that extra gold into?
Honestly, if you're going to throw it down at anyone, just do it in the mid lane. Try to completely unlock Zahira, specifically because he has that ignite. You do have kill pressure onto the map, and you don't want the Skarner to be able to roam around without being able to punish. Or just inject extra gold into your Senna. The stronger she is, the harder it will be for Nasus to try and make any step forward in any of these fights. Every time I see a hook coming out from Tat and Mishigu is around, I'm like, oh boy.
Well, it's going to get chunked out pretty hard here. The Destiny's getting used to teleport as well. They've got the Lantern. The Charger's coming down. There's the gold. There's the flash. Laser beams there. And it's the shutdown as Touch loses his life as well. Granit find 2 topside.
Oh, that is absolutely beautiful, actually. Calling all 5 members up top to absolutely punish the Nordavind bot lane, shut down the Kai'Sa, get all these turret platings. Don't forget, there is a Rift Herald up there as well. They're going to inject their money straight into their ADC, make Nasus' life even harder at the start. The Kraken deals true damage, no matter how tanky he is going to hurt him. So Hecarim and Senna are going to be 2 very, very, very big champions really early on. I do love this proactivity from Granit, and Nordavind don't necessarily take anything because there's no major big objectives on the other side of the map for them to take.
Oh, they're looking to jump in the mid lane, though. They've got the CC to work with. Chain Lash is going to come down. Gold card is there, but Sharp makes sure that Ericsson gets it with 1 last Q.
That was a nice punishment right there from Nordavind. That was the only play they could have pulled off. You obviously knew that Sharp was going to be in that bot side jungle, so I think Sahiro was being a little bit disrespectful right there. But again, the play right here, the Doozy touch and Crispberg way too far forward. The cleanse is pulled, the flash is pulled is just not good enough, and they both end up going down. Top tower going down, all the tower platings, and the first tower gold. And then Sahiro has to pay with his life for being a little bit... I'm trying to find the word, but I can't. It's not necessarily disrespectful, he was just not cautious enough.
Probably the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
Kraken Slayer now finished up for Michigi, so once he gets that Rage Knife, that's kind of the nice spot, the sweet spot. You start to really hurt.
It's so funny how Crispberg is 2-1, 30 CS ahead, yet he's still the one that's chasing his first item. That was such a great move by Granit in the top lane to shut him down and now have the Senna being stronger in the fights to come. They already have that one dragon. Granit can make it too. They got the pressure in the bot. They're pushing down their mid lane as well. You see that Skarner is moving all the way up top. They're conceding completely the dragon. This is going to be another one for Granit.
Yeah, a bit of a freebie. Sharp's making a move onto Zahiro though. Gets locked down. Curve's going to start to tank the tower. Gets himself a stack as well with that Q. Curve is starting to get a little bit scary. Got the Sheen working towards that Divine Sunderer. He's actually been able to pick himself up a bunch of plates as well. So Curve could start to become a bit of a nuisance for Granit if they don't steal with him fairly soon. I would like to actually quickly see how many stacks he's at on the Nasus. 279 right now.
Ooh. Okay, he's going to hurt a lot if he actually...
I mean, look at these tower plates. Pop. Half a plate. That's a resistance plate as well.
I was about to say, this is like one of the last plates as well, which are really hard to go down. Sahira's going to have to be extremely careful because they have him as their target, right? If Sahira is not on the map, there's not that concern of the Twisted Fate ultimate popping in and killing off your ADC again. And remember, Crispberg doesn't have summoners right now. So Sahira not being on the map unlocks Crispberg to move wherever he wants and farm freely. So you unlock your Kai'Sa, you'll be able to unlock the map once the Twisted Fate is down. Now, the very interesting thing for Crispberg is that he has opted to go for that Kraken Slayer, and that's because he's going to have to play and fight against an Ornn and a Hecarim that are extremely tanky. Again, a really quick breakdown about Kraken on Kai'Sa, because we've mostly been seeing the Gale Force Kai'Sa is the fact that on every third auto attack, the Kai'Sa will deal true damage due to the Kraken Slayer, and every fifth auto attack, Kai'Sa will deal AP damage from her passive. So it's AD into true damage, into AD, into AP in the span of 5 auto attacks. Is that going to help at all here?
Looking for him now. Does have the ultimate to reposition backwards. They get the hook. There's the Kraken damage. Railgun's not going to be enough. As here comes the charm onto free by Dr. Chaos. But Ericsson pulls out his own Coal of the Forge God. The old switcheroo, locking everybody down with the hose pipe as well. But not going to be able to find anything else. Nordavind get 1 for none.
Wow, okay. Yep, that was basically the breakdown of the Kraken Slayer. That was a very quick display of how it's used by Crispberg. Hecarim walks in, 5 auto attacks is all it takes to kill the entire horse and then take down bot lane as well. Very well played right there. Ericsson followed up beautifully too. And yeah, Kai'Sa is back on Queen mode right now, and it's going to be very hard. Very hard if they don't coordinate all the members together. Remember again, to take Crispberg down, it took all 5 a teleport and a Twisted Fate ult to take Crispberg down.
Well, we can have a little look. There you go.
Yeah, they pull him back. It doesn't dodge the Ornn ult, but that was a beautiful ultimate right there from Crispberg, and the hook made sure that the horse is not going anywhere. 5 auto attacks. That was it. 5 autos and a Q. Dead horse.
Well, back into reality, or current time. Kerberos helping Sharp pick up this Rift Herald. Is going to be able to take that down. And with the 2 turrets taken out now, I expect this Rift Herald to probably get used mid, although it is already quite low. They could have popped it into Kerberos's pocket and just let him side lane. But I think the realistic play is open up mid lane, make sure they can take over the map. And Curve is now getting to the point where he is really going to start to do some damage to these towers. He is going to be a real problem. He's got like a crazy amount of ability haste. I don't know exactly how much he's got, but he's got the Lucidity Boots. He's got the Glacial Shroud, Kindle Gem, and Divine Thunderer. And I can't remember exactly how much that comes up to. There is a bug, so we can't actually see. 10 from Kindle Gem, 20 from Boots, that's 30. 10 from that, so that's 40. 60. He's got 60 ability haste. Okay. So he Qs a lot. And remember, whenever he pops R, he halves the time of the Qs as well. So Qs even more.
He only Qs. 1 second cooldown on that Q. Rift Herald going to be popped in the mid lane. Of course, Nordavind, now that they have the power in their hands, they've got the Collector on their Kai'Sa as well completed. 2-item Kai'Sa is extremely strong. So they're trying to open up the lane. This was, again, the reason that they conceded all these dragons to Granit. They knew they couldn't fight at that point. Now that their ADC is so extremely strong, and Nasus has a lane which he can be so powerful in, and even if they pull 2 people to kill the Nasus, he knows he can survive. It's actually pretty much GG for them, because Twisted Fate cannot side lane against Sylas. He cannot side lane against Nasus. Tamos is having problems versus the Nasus, and they're going to have to bring a second person. And the second they do, Nordavind are going to pull a trigger onto the other side of the map because they have an overly fed Kai'Sa. It's looking really grim right here for Granit with 4,000 gold deficit. And
I mean, look at the sustain from Curb. He just gets a Q and he gets so much health back as they found a really big hook there. Everfrost is used, and Chrisberg, he's the one to collect the kill. Pick onto the jungler. Destiny may be used as Sahira. Just throw it down here in the top side, looking for Curb. Curb, not fancy enough feet here. Gold Guard's actually going to time out, and he's just going to turn this around. Curb does a lot of damage. There's the railgun, but the shield's not going to be enough. Curb has the ulti on. He's going to flash forward. Tamos flashes away to safety. Curb's still going. Well, versus 4. Almost takes 2 of them out. Is going to finally get taken out, but a lot of members committed there. This means Nordavind have a complete free run of the bot and the mid lane right now.
That was 4 members committed for that fight here, Brain. 4 members. Kerberos takes almost 2 of them down. He takes the flash off of the Ornn, whilst Chrisbeck pushes down the mid lane, gets another kill onto the Hecarim. They secure 1 dragon, they secure mid farm, they push bot lane as well, cheapen the tower down there, farm onto Ericsson. It's a win-win-win-win-win scenario for the side of Nordavind. And mind you, again, we don't talk a lot about Ericsson because he's not the one to make the flashy plays, but he's been so consistent again for yet another game. 0 kills. He's there where he needs to be. He pulls the right ultimate. He shadows his bot lane. He has had, again, a stellar game. And as we're going to see on the replay right here, I'm not sure if it's going to be dragon or top lane. Again, Kerberos pulls 1 ultimate, 2 ultimates, because here had to ultimate to get up the top lane. Tamos has to burn his stopwatch, or he does die to the Nasus. He has to dash away and flash to be able to get out. And then Seraphine joins, and he almost kills Twisted Fate too. If he's able to go through the front line that easy, that Senna has no chance to do any damage yet. He only has 2 items. We're going to have to talk about a reckless 200+ soul Senna to deal with that Nasus. And that's going to take a long time.
And he's got the Spectre's Cowl now, so increased healing from his passive. I'd like to actually quickly, I know we've been focusing a lot on the Nasus, but let's quickly see what stacks we're at. Keep you guys updated on that one for the Nasus. 477 right now, 480 after that minion, but he is starting to stack to terrifying degrees.
Is it the time to make the question here, Brain?
What question?
What win conditions do Granit need?
Do you want me to answer this? Or do you want to answer this? Because I feel like you've got the answer here.
I do, but it's not going to be a nice one. It's not going to be a very positive one. It needs time. It means that at this point, the Twisted Fate is not extremely useful. He cannot side lane. He's literally playing pill for his Senna. The Senna does not do enough damage. The Twisted Fate doesn't do enough damage. The Hecarim is way too behind to do any damage. He will literally just die to the Nasus alone. Oh, okay. Try number 2. Go.
Curb, you're getting jumped onto here. Gets gold card and CC way too long. Curb, a little bit too greedy to go for that one, considering he took a free tower shot. And all for a hook. Well, all for a Q onto the minion as Michigan's getting jumped onto. He has to flash away. Good box usage here. Galben charging in forwards. There's the charm onto the back. Chrisberg gets fitted, but he's able to cleanse away to safety. Gets snared up for the moment by the beat drop as he just slides in onto the back line. The railgun will keep him alive. And now Granit, that was the picks they needed. Got themselves a cheeky couple of kills.
We asked about the win conditions. Nordavind just gave them some. They're overextending. Kerberos is greedy for that tower. They end up punishing, then they TP down the mid lane. Their macro is so fast. They're trying to make the comeback. The Blastcon is still up. Teleport is coming in. Smite's still up on the Skarner. They can't do this Baron.
Yeah, they're going to call it off. With the Call of the Forge God on Ericsson as well, it is scary. But now Ericsson, he has to be a little careful versus Galvin. Galvin's E is going to time out before he can get to him, however. And there's the Call of the Forge God just to interrupt Michigu.
Aww.
And Zahira, that's just being a nuisance. As Tamos, they used a lot of attention onto him to keep Kerberos in control. It looks like Sharp's going to come in with the Impale. Can take a lot of damage from these Qs by Kerb. Kerb doesn't even care about tanking tower. He's just getting kills and stacks.
Well, that is the big engagement gone now. That is the only front line that Granit have down for another 30 seconds. That is an easy move into this Baron. Kai'Sa is absolutely smacking it together with the Nasus, and it's going to be up to Seraphine to face check. They have no ultimates from the side of Granit to check this out. No Twisted Fate ultimate, no Seraphine ultimate, nothing.
And there it is, Baron into beat, drop into gold card. They will sacrifice their fresh. A lot of CC used. You can't actually move at all. You get hit by one thing, but sacrificing your support to get that Baron. Big plays there. Going to reset, going to spend a little bit more of that gold. Spirit's Visage finished up. Kerb now getting a little bit more armor, building towards that Frozen Fist. And we do have the dragon spawning up in 20 seconds. And Nordavind, they don't want to go into soul point, so they are going to move over and try and contest this as quick as possible.
Very important items right here completed. Zhonya's Hourglass for Ericsson. We've been talking about how he hasn't been dying. This is going to help him even more. He deals a lot of damage with the Everfrost as well. You mentioned Spirit Visits being completed onto the Nas as well. The healing is going to be immense unless the hero pops down the Ignite on him.
Yeah, they get a lot of CC off. That's a massive encore, charming everybody up. Kerb is going to go down, but there's the charge onto the back by Ericsson. He looks for it. Kerb is now out of the fight, but this is just Chrisberg tidying everybody up. A triple kill for him. Dragon is going to get secured along with that Baron. Nordavind turn what was looking dire on its head.
Oof, Ericsson and Chrisberg completely pulled through on this fight. You see that Sharp is trying to go in for that Dragon, and he pulls out the Hecarim right there to try and kill him off with the Smite, but it's just not happening. And Ericsson gets a beautiful ultimate down the backline, allows Chrisberg to jump in as well, and they just completely dismantle the entirety of Granit, as well as taking the Dragon. The two carries from Nordavind right here are absolutely and utterly popping off.
And here comes Kerb. Look at this tower. Oh, one auto, two autos, three, and a Q. Finishes it up. Kerb is melting towers now. He's got 582 stacks.
This is looking very dire for the side of Granit. We asked for win conditions. Nordavind gave them some. They got a little bit greedy. They overextended. They're like, let's not do this again. This is a won game. It is actually a won game from them. 7,000 gold into the lead. They have 3 items onto the Kai'Sa, 2 items on the Sylas. They've got a very beefy front line in the likes of the Skarner and the Nasus. They've got side lane pressure if they choose to. They've got split push. They've got team fight. They have backline assassination and access. They have everything going on for them. And Granit, all they need is for that Senna to do that much more damage. But it's just going to take so long that they don't have the time to turtle for that much.
No, they really don't. And Galvin has to be very careful here. He is getting collapsed onto, uses the E. There's the Impale Fear Lantern combo. Kind of a little bit janked, actually, as Galvin. Good R by him, actually, to make sure that Sharp didn't find the kill.
It's all right. They'll get their pressure eventually. This is huge because Hecarim again doesn't have ultimate. Zahira doesn't have ultimate, had to burn it right there as well. Which means they don't have a lot of vision. They're trying to pick on Kerberos, but Kerberos is way too big right now with the 3 items. They're going to need more than 2 people. They bring 3. They bring 5.
Bringing 5. Kerb is locked down for so long. Will lose his life. There's way too much CC, but that was 5 members committed. And Nordavind is just going to take an inhibitor tower here. There is not going to be a response in time.
In all honesty,
may commit for the inhib as well, actually.
I don't really think they need to sacrifice Kerberos because now they're getting TP'd on.
Yeah, this could be a little rough, Mel, though. Tamos doesn't have the R, so he's going to have to find a big knock-up. Dawning Shadow gets used, a good hook, and Sahira comes in onto that backline. Everfrost locks everybody down. Charm's not going to be quite big enough as Chrisberg has to cleanse. He's low HP, but just repositions back over the wall. Sharp flashes away as well as the charge comes in by Ericsson. Kingslayer will heal him up. Ericsson trying to buy a little bit more time, but he is cut down and taken out. Overall, a 1-for-1 on that fight, but because of the Kerberos kill, it's a 2-for-1 in favor of Granit, but they lose their inhibitor tower topside.
Kerberos is overextending way too much. It's fine if you sacrifice for the greater good, but that was just a tower, just an inhibitor tower for the Baron buff that Nordavind took, and that was a great fight for them as well. You do see the display of skill from Chrisberg's Kai'Sa as well, jumps through the wall to try and get away. Sharp makes it out as well, but then if you jump over the wall, that means with your short range from Kai'Sa, you're not going to be able to output any more damage right there, and they end up going down. That was a Baron play that didn't even result in a single inhibitor on a team that is 7,000 gold in the lead, and that's again due to Kerberos getting caught down the bot lane. So they need to be a little bit more aware. They need to extend their vision line a little bit more if they want to make these plays work, and they need to make sure that not just one lane is pushed at a time, but 2 or 3 simultaneously.
Well, while they wait for the respawns, they are just going to buy themselves a little bit of time, get some more farm onto Curb, get some more stacks onto Curb. It's got the Frozen Heart finished up, the Spirit Visage and the Divine Sunderer now building towards what I believe is a Sterix with that Phage. Gives a little bit more survivability, but I don't even know if Sterix is enough, because it's the problem with Curb is it's not that he almost gets away, he just can't move. When you're playing into the Seraphine with a beat drop that just applies so much CC, you got the gold cards, you got Tamils with his CC, he literally just doesn't get to move. Maybe Merc Treads might have helped a little bit in that one, but I actually don't even think the tenacity from Merc Treads would have been enough to deal with the amount of CC Granit have. And in a single pick situation, Granit can kill someone before they even get to do anything. As a Sharp might be experiencing that right now. There's the CC onto him, the Lantern, the Encore, can't move.
Oh no.
Touch could be in trouble as well. Has that box down as he will lose his life. You literally can't move versus Granit.
I mean, they're overextending again. They're going to catch Ericsson too.
Ericsson gets gold carded, is able to put a bit of distance away here. Gold card may come in, but Curb is inside the base. You're trading Dragon for Inhibitor here.
Are they going to stop the TPs? They're trying to. Yep, they are trying to stop the TPs. Kerberos did what he actually deprived his team of in the previous push. That inhibitor, they managed to actually get the inhibitor, but Granit...
Chrisberg's actually trying to buy some space here. Jumps in, goes for Dr. Chaos. The railgun's not going to be enough. Mishigu gets the shutdown, but here's Curb. Gets the river off of the slow. Close for velocity. He's going to buy him a bit of spaces. There is a fear available to Ericsson. Is going to be able to throw it down onto Galben. Locks him up with the Everfrost. Here it comes forward with the gold card. There's the charge. There's the backline. Galben, one last chain lash is taken out. And Nordavind turn it back around once again.
This is so back and forth. It's crazy, but at the end of the day, it is Granit losing their jungler and Nordavind are spam pinging the Baron. Even without their ADC, Ericsson will be able to do more than enough damage right there. It is such a back and forth game because it's Nordavind constantly overextending, and Granit, really hungry to get back into the game, are looking for these picks. They do have the engage, they do have the lockdown, as you've mentioned, and they managed to get a couple of picks. Then they overextend, then they get punished, and so on and so forth. So far, from all this back and forth overextension, getting punished sort of game, Nordavind has come out ahead, 8,000 gold in the lead, and a Baron in their hands.
Let's have a little look at all the action again. It starts with Sharp just getting picked.
He's just way too overextended. He's trying to look for a pick. I get it, but there's just 3 members in the mid lane. It's just him, Touch, and Chrisberg. They're not just going to dive into 5 members from the side of Granit. So again, you make one wrong move, you get gold carded. This is it. You're going to get spam CC'd from there on out. And Chrisberg is trying to take one from the team right here, takes down the support, but he has a huge shutdown on him that he just gave over to Mishigu. And we talked about how this Senna needs the items. She needs to reach the late game. If you keep shoving shutdowns down his throat, he's gonna get there eventually.
Yeah, and got the Wormfall and Sacrifice as well finished up thanks to Tamils upgrading it. The Chem Tank has also been upgraded, and the Rocket Belt, and now the Moonstone. So only the Divine Sunderer to get upgraded for Galben, and then the Ornament will, they will come forward, and that's a fair amount of gold, like, that is kind of made up for here, as there is a gold lead, but with the fact you got those ornaments, it's pretty big. And now Curb Baron minions. He's got the wave alone. So, I mean, this tower's probably going down fairly soon after that.
What is really worrying right here is how Nordavind will choose to play from now on, because they have to walk into the base, right? We talked about how much the CC lock is on the side of Granit. You get gold carded, you actually die right there if you get caught off guard away from your team. And as you can see, Nordavind are trying to do what we mentioned before, try to get that Baron buff in multiple lanes, try to push simultaneously. They're waiting for the top lane wave to crash in first, and then they're pushing the other lanes correctly.
Curb able to dodge away on a lot of abilities. There's a wave crashing in on the top side, so Sahira's had to go deal with that. Although mid-wave not actually synced up for the siege, so now waves are crashing at roughly the same time as Curb. Still got the Baron, still being a nuisance. That damage on the inhibitor was just one auto from Curb, by the way, so got to keep that in mind as the turret finally goes down in the mid lane, and this just alleviates Curb some free time. Is going to look to jump away. The charm connects onto with the Encore. They've got the Call of the Forge God by Ericsson. Looking for the knock-up Curb, standing in the middle. Feared up, knocked up. Sterex gets popped, and in comes Chrisberg. Finds himself a cheeky double kill. Michigan running away, but it's not going to be able to get the kill onto him today. Tamos will go down. There's the ace, and this will be the game for Nordavind. Taking out that last inhibitor. Curb, one bot with the Q.
Again, Nordavind playing this.
Get one last NASA stack check as the Nexus explodes. 819 stacks at 32 minutes. And those siphoning sights will bop to end this game. Nordavind take the win.
Finally, they played this last fight by the book here, Brain. They pushed 3 lanes simultaneously with the Baron buff. They have Curb on the bot side where the open inhibitor walls. They had the rest of the team in the mid lane. They had a huge wave coming in from the top side, waited for that to crash first, and then they pushed the other 2 towers. That was proper play. They got caught a couple of times there. This game could have turned around. Nordavind has lost from a gold lead before. They have thrown their game. So the fact that they were able to pull this back together actually shows how their mental has improved from the start of the season to this point here. Because yes, the mid game looked a little bit sloppy, but they definitely brought it back.
Yeah, it was a really, really good game there from Nordavind.
And I'm sorry, I do remain with my statement that if Crispr gets Kai'Sa, is GG go next.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, also Curb with Nasus. Maybe that was what did it. I don't know. Anyway, time for you to feast your eyes on some adverts. Look at all these goodies. Woo! See you in a second.
Ain't I mistaken? I've been here before. All my body is aching, shaking to the core. Wherever you go is a heaven, 7/24. Now don't go be misbehaving, but I'm craving a little more. Can't keep my thoughts inside, don't want no place to hide. Can't get you off my mind, all night and day. You always played it cool, oh, but I ain't no fool. I know you feel it too, so what do you say? Well, I'ma give it a try, baby. Don't let the summer go by, baby. No, I don't wanna say goodbye, baby. Baby, we should give it a try. Why don't we give it a try? Ain't no mistaken, I'm taken with you. All my body is aching, awaken anew. Oh, I think I'm in heaven it's true. Now don't go misbehaving, but I'm caving over you. Oh, can't keep my thoughts inside, don't want no place to hide. Can't get you off my mind, all night and day. Yeah, always playing it cool, oh, but I ain't no fool. I know you feel it too, so what do you say? Well, I'ma give it a try, baby. Don't let the summer go by, baby. No, I don't wanna say goodbye, think about every time you look at my way. I wanna make the most of this high, I wanna talk about every time you wanted to stay. I wanna make the most of this night. So what do you say? Why don't we give it a try? Baby, don't let the summer go by. Baby, now I don't wanna say goodbye. Baby, maybe we should give it a try. Why don't we give it a try?
Time to make a start. We can't stay where we are, my love. This is our one chance to chase the sun. We've got to cut and run, my love. For all the reasons we work so hard, for the life that we deserve. I know that we'll be on golden sands, seeing far across the world.
Welcome back, everybody, to the NLC. We have obviously. Oh wait, I forgot to put my jacket on. Sorry, Foxy, I've left you out.
No.
I've left you
Oh
out
my
to dry,
god, look
mate.
at him.
I've left
He's
you out
just
to
sitting
dry.
with a jacket all alone.
I know. I
cringe is that?
completely left him out to dry, and I feel awful about
Jesus.
it. Now, look, I'm distracting you from the fact that we just had a big win here for Nordavind over Granit. Obviously, they were tied in score. Nordavind need these wins, especially versus people that they're in direct competition with. So this was a big win for Nordavind, and I believe I've got Ericsson ready to chat to. Funny story. I actually tried to chat to Ericsson yesterday, but didn't even realize that I was supposed to be the one doing the interview. So I kept them in the channel for 40 minutes, and they just had to sit there doing nothing. Ericsson, that was a big win for you guys. How are you feeling after that one?
Yeah, I mean, wasn't the cleanest game, but we're feeling good. Obviously, we needed the win, and it's nice to win against Granit.
So in this particular draft, you came through the Silas. Was this something that you felt was just like an absolute skeleton key? Like you thought that was just like a pick that was going to win you the game just based on what they had?
Yeah, so the Silas pick just like looked pretty good in that situation. Like they already showed their mid, so I was confident that Silas was the right pick, and I think it paid off.
And who made the decision to go for Nastas? Was that Curb asking for Nastas, or was that actually a coach decision that came through?
Well, I guess it's both. I mean, the players says what they want to play. So yeah, in the end, it's the coach's decision, but we're pretty confident with Curb or the Nastas from Curb rather.
Yeah, well, I think in that game he was basically got a free lane to farm in, so that was fine. Some of the early game that happened there, you kind of made a conscious decision to try to trade early Drakes and either invest a little bit more in Curb in the top lane. What was that like a conscious decision, or was it just that you didn't have the setup to sort of contest those early objectives?
I mean, I think if I'm not mistaken, we fell a bit behind early. And yeah, I mean, Nasus just wants to scale. Kind of same for Silas. We just decided to take it slow in the early game with the deficits in terms of the comp. So yeah, I think it was fine to give those objectives, and yeah, I'm happy we didn't fight them.
Yeah, and it obviously paid off well for you. You guys are now going up against Dusty for your final game. You're actually, I think you're relatively in a comfortable spot now to be contesting those playoffs. Are you like confident that this is kind of like the week where you're going to secure a playoff spot? Are you confident with the result that you've had today that is enough to propel you to a point where you're absolutely getting a playoff spot from here?
Yeah, I mean, I think the playoffs is in our hands. Like, we just have to win tomorrow, and I think we're
pretty much secured playoffs. So I don't think there's any scenario where we don't make playoffs if we win tomorrow. So yeah, like we're just all focused on getting that W tomorrow and like preparing for playoffs.
Well, hopefully we get to see you there because you had a great performance today. Your Silas was really, really strong. Obviously was a good pick in that scenario. There was so many good ultimates for you to steal in almost every fight as well. So yeah, good performance from Nordavind. And again, good luck for your game tomorrow.
Thank you. See you guys.
And this time round, I have Professor Foxy to bring us this clip. So Professor Foxy, please take us through.
A clip I want to show you here is a team fight between Nordavind and Granit, and really it just showcases the beautiful team fight prowess that Nordavind displayed for us. If I'm there we go, I'm pressing play. Here we go. So this is a 4v5, bear in mind, okay? You got 5 people of Granit down the bot side here, posturing around the dragon, and then you're going to have Nordavind walking in, and it really just shows the strength of the team comp. I want you to keep your eyes on the Silas and the Kaiser as well. So you got your front line going in here, Kerberos and Skarner, and then bam, you see Silas there? Look what he's done. I'm going to go cheeky little pause right here. Where's my little blower? Here we go. Look at this. You see that? That's a Hecarim ulti. Now there's a phrase we about to throw around in the NLC called dogpiling, and you're about to see it in its fullest here with the Hecarim ult and then the Kaiser ult, okay? So Hecarim goes in, and there it is. 3-man Hecarim ult, followed by the Kaiser ulti. And look at this. Who's this bad boy over here? What's he doing? He's not even part of the fight. It's a 4v5, and that just goes to show with a team comp like this and Nordavind drafted and the way that they executed it as well, if you can just find those perfect engages. Silas had so many options for good ultimates that game. He's not even picked into the Hecarim, right? Like he's picked because he's so good into the lane with the Twisted Fate. The Hecarim's the cherry on top. Easy peasy lemon squeezy team fights for Nordavind.
I will say that Granit did a good job utilizing the agency they did have in their composition with the Twisted Fate. They had some good top dives in the beginning of the game, and they had some good punishes onto Kerberos. But with the team composition you had against the team composition Nordavind had, there kind of just comes a point into the game where you no longer out-duel them. Like the scaling was just superior from the side of Nordavind, and as you just said, Foxtrot, that Silas pick, like yes, this time it was the Hecarim ult. It could easily have been the Twisted Fate for more of that was side lane pressure. It could have been the Seraphine ultimate. There is so many possibilities. And I think that was the key part, that no matter what kind of outcome you came out in, you were always on top when you were in Nordavind.
Yeah, I think you kind of both said it coming out the draft. You were like, I think this is probably one in draft from Nordavind, but they just have to execute on it properly, and they did. It was, as he said, not the cleanest game ever, but it was a comfortable game, I'd say, from Nordavind. Now, we have another game coming up after the break. It is another relatively important match, another one of those Group A matches that could decide a lot. It is going to be Dusty versus BTXL. Now, Dusty are in the same position that all of the other teams have been in at the start of this week, which is where they are 3 and 5, 3 and 5, I believe. So they are 3 and 5 along with other teams. They have to beat BTXL to give them a good shot at getting to the playoffs. But BTXL are the most dominant team in Group A, so it will be a big ask. But Dusty are on a bit of a roll right now. We're going to go to a break. When we're back, champion select for that game.